Question 13 says, a coat hook is attached to a smooth door by a screw as shown. You can see it in the first diagram. The diagram below shows the three of the forces that act on the coat hook. Okay, so the forces are specifically acting on the coat hook that are shown in the diagram. When a coat is hung from it, the weight of the coat hook may be neglected. Okay. Add a labeled arrow to the diagram to show the additional force required for the coat hook to be in equilibrium. So this is the additional force. Focus on the term equilibrium, everybody. So the keyword here is equilibrium, and since the hook is in equilibrium, all the forces must be balanced. There is an upward force to balance the downward force, so there must be a force on the left to balance the force on the right, as you can see from this diagram. So you have an upward force to balance out the downward force. So if there is a force on the right, there must be a force on the left, and everything based on the term equilibrium. For B, if too many coats are hung from the coat hook, the hook will rotate and pull the screw out of the door. Point P is the position of the pivot as shown. Focus on the term rotate, everybody. The moment you see rotate, it's fairly obvious that this question is related to moments. The maximum horizontal force from the screw is 150. Screw gives 150. The mass of one coat is 2.6 kg. Deduce whether a person could hang more than 2 of these coats from the hook. So what do I do, everybody, with this question? So let's consider the weight of maximum number of coats, F, and apply the principle of moment to calculate F. So F times 2.5, and whenever you are dealing with a question of moment and specifically principle of moment, always remember force multiplied by perpendicular distance from the pivot. So here you have the force and multiply it with the perpendicular distance from the pivot. The whole thing will turn around this point P, that makes P the pivot. So F equals 54 Newton. So weight of one coat would be 2.6 times 9.81. Where did I get 2.6? It's given in the question, 2.6 kg, and that's the mass of one coat. And the weight of one coat would be, just multiply it with 9.81, you give 25.5 Newton. And the maximum force or maximum weight this coat hook can support is 54. So how many coats does it require to make 54 Newton? So you just divide it. Number of coats hung is 54 divided by 25.5, that makes it 2.1 coats. Now maximum of 2 coats can be hung, as the next coat would cause the maximum force to exceed 54, because we had already found out this was the maximum force. So up to 2 coats is fine. The moment you put on a third coat, that would increase the maximum force, that would cause the force to exceed 54 Newton.